Would you like to be able to fly through space at over 1,000 miles per hour? Well, you are, right now, this very minute. The Earth, you see, spins on its axis at about 1,000 miles per hour from the equator, carrying you with it. Each hour your spot on Earth travels 15 degrees of longitude towards the east. You may think you do not notice any sign of your speedy trip, but you do. Every day you see the sun march across the sky. The sun is not actually moving. The Earth is turning from west to east. That is why the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west. It takes the Earth 24 hours to turn on its axis once. Imagine that the sun has just come up. In 1 hour, the sun will be higher in the sky. With each hour that passes, the sun will rise higher and higher until noon. Then it will become lower, until it finally sinks out of sight. Imagine that you have a friend who lives 1,000 miles west of you. When the sun has been up for 1 hour where you live, it will just be coming up where your friend lives. You have another friend who lives over 1,000 miles east of you. When the sun has been up for 1 hour where you live, it will have been up for 2 hours at where your friend's house to the east is. People have been using the sun to tell time for many years. How high the sun is in the sky can tell us how long it has been since sunrise, and how long it is until sunset. When the sun is at its highest point in the sky, it is noon. Remember your two friends to the east and to the west of you? When it's noon where you are, it is an hour past noon where your friend to the east lives. It is an hour before noon at your friend's house to the west. The Earth is divided into 24 parts for keeping time. Just like the bar on your notes, we call each division of the Earth a time zone. Every place on Earth within a time zone has the same time as every other place in that time zone. Before we had time zones, every town kept its own time. Because of the Earth's rotation, noon came at different times for towns even 40 or 50 miles east or west of each other. As long as travel was slow, this was not a problem. But with the coming of railroads, the differing times became a big, big problem. Trying to tell people when trains would arrive and leave was almost impossible when the clocks in every town were set to a different time. Time zones were set up to solve this problem. Time zones are about 1,000 miles across from east to west at the equator. Time zones become narrower as you move towards the poles. Only 4 time zones are needed to cover the entire continental United States. These 4 time zones are called the Eastern Time Zone, the Central Time Zone, the Mountain Time Zone, and the Pacific Time Zone. In some cases, the time zones follow the boundaries of states or nations rather than lines of longitude. You'll see these here in this diagram. People who travel across time zones must keep track of time. Whenever you cross a time zone going east, the time becomes 1 hour later. You must set your watch ahead 1 hour. Conversely, whenever you cross a time zone going west, the time becomes 1 hour earlier and you must set your watch back 1 hour.